Hello, YouTube. Welcome back to mine, Mogul, and of course, the new map update. Now, last episode we finished off what I'm calling the ground floor, and also I tested out a new theory on what possibly might be causing my phone to crack up a little bit. I thought maybe if I talked a little bit softer, it wouldn't crack as badly. And while that did kind of seem to help. Unfortunately, the sample size was a bit too small, and it still cracked a little bit anyways. So, I'm not going to really force myself to speak in that much of a different tone. And, like I said last episode, I did also change all of the old conveyor belts to the new walled ones that I like using. There are a few of the old conveyor belts still left behind, but that's mostly because, well, trying to get the walled ones there would have been very, very annoying, difficult, just not even fitting. This episode, I was planning on going up there and doing a little bit of work, and I'm still planning on doing that. It's just, I'm also thinking about doing a whole redesign of this down here. What brought that on was, of course, the fact that I grabbed the blast furnace and the polishing machines for quest. And if we look in the upper left-hand corner, well, now I've got those quests. I also have to go grab the shaker and get that one too. So, a redesign is definitely in order. Especially since I have all these ores here that I really don't want to just crush into, you know, tiny crushed anymore. I actually do want to go and start getting the ingots. So a redesign is in order. But first, I think that I'm going to go up there and I'm at least going to plot them out, if not actually install them. Well, you know, hook them up. I'm going to plot out what I'm going to do up here at the very least. Even if I don't actually go and, well, attach them. So we'll start with this up here since, well, I have 3 mines and there are 3 mines up here. 3 miners and there are 3 mines up here. Okay, plus it'll tell us what exactly we're looking at here. And for this we are looking at predominantly iron with a tiny bit of coal. And of course, we also have the same old, oh. Did I? Oh, I forgot that there was a 4th one up here apparently. I thought there was only 3. Never mind, looks like Alan needs to go and grab another one. That'll be fine. I can go do that. But first I'm gonna grab all these little nodes here and take them down with me. Oh, righty. Bonsai. I will say this to the developers, thank you for not having fall damage. I mean, I can understand why we don't have fall damage. I mean, why the heck would you even have a health bar in a game like this? It just makes next to no sense. But still, thank you for not implementing anything like that where technically you pass out for a little bit or do something stupid like that like some other games tend to do. Thank you for not doing that. That would be very annoying if you guys had done so. Plus, it is really, really fun to just jump from way high up and just land. Very fun. Very enjoyable. Alright, so we got those set up. Those 4. That being said, we have a couple of other spots we can go set up too. Technically 3 spots, and I only have 2 miners, so while I'm in the area, I might as well go and grab a 3rd miner before I forget. And I have to run all the way back over here anyways. Alright. Ooh, that's a big one. And it looks like it comes out this side. Or it comes out this side. Interesting. Well, I guess we'll see what happens with that one later on. And there we go. By the way, something that I kind of sort of found out / remembered when I was messing about with Classic Map. I don't know if this was a thing previously when I had the previous playthrough, but if you see how this pipe right here, it looks all junky and unpolished, you can put that through a polishing machine. You can put it through a polishing machine. I didn't exactly remember that that was possible, but I, of course, well, with the Classic Map, when I was messing around with it, I found a few of these pipes in crates, and obviously I wanted to get the maximum value out of them. So I decided just to toss them and a few of the ingots that were unpolished through a polishing machine just to see if it would do so. And it did. Like I said, don't know if that was a thing the previous version, but if it was, cool. If it wasn't, even cooler. We found a new thing, a new feature. So, alright. Now we move on to wherever this copper is, which I think is up here. Yes, it is right here. Oh. Oh, there were 2. Oh. Huh. Wheel sheet. Okay. Then I am going to probably go grab... Yeah, I'm probably going to go grab the final miner just to do that one. But after that, I think what we're going to do is we're going to plan out the redesign. After I put this one down, we are going to plan out the redesign, because I did not realize there was that many other mines in this area. Of course, unsurprising, it's a new map. It's a new map. Of course, you're not going to know everything, Alan. I mean, it'd be more shocking if you did know everything about this new map. And people would have to start looking at you weird. And wondering why the heck you're playing the map before, you know, you show it off. Alright, there we go. And, yeah, you know what? I'm going to really quickly just clean this one out and sell it, because we are nowhere near the level of being prepared for pipes. So I'm not... The redesign that I'm going to make is definitely not going to include that. It's going to include ingots, sure. It's going to include gems. It's going to include ores, obviously. Pipes? Not yet. Not yet. Alright, so... For the redesign, let's just make sure all of our things are off. And that is going to be very bad when I need to go and turn them all back on. Anyways, though, so we need to redesign this. First and foremost, this little belt here, this probably is going to be one of the only things that don't change. I think up to this point, obviously, it's not going to change. In fact, I think a little bit beyond this point is probably not going to change either, honestly speaking here. I don't think there's going to be much change beyond, before this point, honestly speaking here. Maybe, just maybe, I might just redesign this so that it comes over here, just so that I have that open space, which actually I think I am going to do real quick, just because that is actually a good idea. That is a decent idea, just to basically make sure that I don't have to worry about space that much. I'll be able to have all the space that I could ever possibly want. So now that we've got a little bit extra space, and I've got a little bit more of my wall conveyor belts, let's begin discussing how we're going to do this. First, I'm going to get rid of all of these, and I'm also going to get rid of all of these. I don't need these sorters right now, mostly because, well, to be perfectly blunt, I have plenty of, well, spare ores. I have plenty of them. I'm definitely not going to be short of ores to utilize. So, let's just go, get rid of all of this, and redesign this. Alright, so, to start off with, that area, I think, is going to be my starting point for my entire iron nonsense. Iron and coal is going to start off here. However, there's going to be a slight change to the program, one that I was thinking of the entire time I was messing about over here, and that's this stuff. This stuff right here, I think I'm going to loop around the back end. I'm going to immediately swap course here, and I am going to immediately send it over here. And we will begin the slow and arduous task of moving this away. And there. Now the coal iron over here, these two, are hooked into that. Now, there are going to be people that are going to tell me that this is a very stupid idea. That, honestly speaking, I really shouldn't go and just really shouldn't do that. I shouldn't just add that stuff to I shouldn't just overload the I shouldn't overload it that much. However, the problem with that is it should be more or less fine. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit much for it at first. I mean, it's going to be a bit of resources, but nothing too crazy. If you'll remember correctly, in the classic map, previous playthrough, we usually have about 5 or maybe even 6 iron mines on the same belt, and the sorters work just fine. So that's kind of the working point here. That it will be more or less fine. It's not going to be entirely fine, but it'll be more or less fine. We'll get there. We'll get there. New. Change you to being a... There. There. And finally, there. Alright. So, the game plan. The game plan here. Obviously, the iron, coal, and gemstones come in through here. The iron and the coal and their little children, if I can find... Oh, there's iron. The little bitty bits. Might not be able to find a coal. Might have to go and actually crush one. Which, hey, if I do, I do. And it looks like I do. So, oh well. Big deal. Acting like I haven't done that before. Okay, so the iron and the coal will, of course, do exactly what I'm kind of doing here. They'll go into an ore crusher, which, no, the ore crusher is not going to be sitting right here. The various will be going to an ore crusher. However, they will be split again over here. The iron will continue on its journey forward, I believe. And the coal will be going into a shaker, which will be right here, I'm going to just say. Shaker will, of course, be a 2 by whatever. And then it will get sorted again right here. Yeah. It'll get sorted here where the dang it, where the how do we put this? Well, no, it will go like so. Yes, it'll go like so. Maybe not. You know what? No. The iron will be sorted off here. Yes, that's how we'll do it. The iron will be sorted off because it'll be slightly easier to deal with. And then it'll be tossed into a blast furnace. Okay. There we go. And... well, that's not good. Well, that's gonna have to be it. Unless I want to go underneath. I can go underneath. Oh, no, I can't because the shaker's gonna be here. Yeah, I really... well, yeah, I really can't, honestly. Okay, so... well, this be fine still. I can just do something like this. There. Do something like that. Yep. Do something like that. Then we got that. Okay, so the iron can come in, get crushed down. Get crushed down, then tossed into the blast furnace. where it'll be then turned into whatever it needs to be turned into. And obviously, once we have the mergers, I can just double it. I can basically just take another one and put it right here and have them both feeding onto the same belt without needing one of these, what are they called? Ledge. One of these ledges. Alright. Cool. Of course, since we're doing all this, we're going to need to move the main bus, let's just call it, over to over to here somewhere. How will we be doing that? Well, you know what? Actually, since I've still got these, why don't we just do this? Just do that. Boom, bam, boom. Those ones will all feed into here. It's not going to be exactly a very fun-ish solution, but it shouldn't be too terribly bad. Right over here. There we go. Okay. Yes. Alright, and I need to do something about the copper too, don't I? You know what? I'm pretty sure that I can just toss the copper into here. I'll remove it later. So, in case you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm basically just filtering these off now. That's what I'm doing. Mostly because I need money. Yep. And that's one of the minor problems you'll face here. Oh. Knew it. I knew I was gonna find a couple of you little buggers. I knew it wasn't gonna be that easy. I knew it, dang it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew you guys were gonna do that. I knew it. I knews it. Oh well. Just keep going. Let's try to cut it down a little bit more. And it still gets stopped pretty easily. But that's why we do this stuff. Normally, you won't have to worry about stuff like this. It won't come in this hard or this fast, honestly speaking. Normal. The only reason I could see that it comes in that hard and that fast is if there was a serious problem or a serious amount of a serious amount of your mind's dedicated to that one line. So realistically speaking, I don't see you having to actually worry about having this much going into there. You should more or less be fine. There shouldn't, being the keyword here, be this many resources messing with you. But just because I say something shouldn't be messing with you doesn't mean that it won't. There's always the possibility. That's how life is. Okay, there we go. That should be sorted. That should be handled. And there we go. Now we are sorted off. There. Now we only have copper and coal in here. Now we only have copper and coal in there. And, obviously, we can sort out the copper really, really easily. Since we're probably going to need to. Though I don't exactly know where the main copper is going to come from. I know there's copper over there, but the main problem is where exactly is over there, really. So we're going to need to figure out how to, deal with that. But that's a problem for future me. Like I said, we're just planning this out for now. And this is going to be a very easy plan out. A very, very easy plan out. So, if we take it over there, that's where our polishing machine is, and obviously, this is where our shaker's going to be. Shaker's only one block above where we normally have our conveyor belts. I found that pretty easily. So, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to do something along... Yeah, something like this-ish? Yes, kinda. I'm gonna say yes, but just because. There we go, and there we go. Okay, and now we are going to bring this stuff, and we're going to use it in a blast furnace. Another one that we're eventually going to get. Not right now because we don't have the money, but we will. And that blast furnace will, of course, be 2 blocks. And then, of course, we are going to just... Oh, hey. Might need to change that. Eh, that works. Sure. The heck. Sure, I can change that. Okay. Send you way back here, actually. Yeah. We'll send you way back here. Okay, maybe not that far. Maybe not that far back. Maybe not that far back. Okay. And we'll do that. And yeah, actually, that kind of actually works out even better. So, we'll do that. Then we'll do that, and we'll then do this. Or, and hear me out here, or we do that. We do that. Yeah, sure, it's a bit snaky, but once I actually get the mergers, I can make it a little less snaky. And if we do that, then we can just have this come straight on. Because honestly speaking, this is never going to actually produce enough, it's never actually going to produce enough of the, enough of these it's never going to produce enough of these. Hey, come on. The shaker's never going to produce enough of these crushed coal to actually be something significant or worrying. And where the heck is that other crushed coal I had here somewhere? Okay, yeah, there it is. There it is. There's that piece. Okay. There we go. Alrighty, so, yes. The crushed coal goes into there, but also, as I found out, is that the shaker every now and again doesn't actually make crushed coal. It just lets the coal on through for some reason. I don't know if that's a bug or a glitch, but whatever it is, I'm being on the safe side. We're going to do that. And now that we've done that, honestly speaking here, I could double check to make sure that it actually works. I could. I'm not gonna, but I could. What I'm gonna do is restart that thing, and I'm going to. Oh yeah, I'm gonna cherry pick a few of these. There we go. Okay. I'm going to need to be very careful about not overdoing it because there we go. 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 Okay. Now the coal will go on through, and the iron, quote unquote, will come over here, get smelted down into bars, go over there, get turned into the ingots. Yep. Oh, I will need to fix that. Come on. Thank you. Okay, there we go. The ingots get cleaned. They slide down there instead of trying to slide across. Alrighty, and we are now going to just keep doing this. There we go. Alright, so this is how the main system is going to work. I don't have the copper set up yet, but then again, we won't need to worry about the copper for, well, a little bit. Plus, honestly speaking here, I kind of don't think well, I'm kind of just going to go and set it up all on my own anyways. I think I might just do a little bit of work all on my own and call it Kimosabi. Or maybe I'll just plan it out all on my own and then I'll show you in the next episode. But this right here is basically how the setup is going to work. I am going to need to go and find another iron node though, because this gave me a very excellent warning. The little bits are obviously going to just continue forward into the shaker, and obviously we don't want the iron bits in this dang shaker. That's just gonna mess up the whole system. So I'm gonna go find myself a little iron bit. I am going to start running all these things to make sure there's no... Actually, I can just run them right now to make sure there's no issues. Oh, hey there, guys. I didn't even notice you. Oh, go on in there and yeah, make some extra bits. I think we only need 2, so come here, you. I'm gonna keep you till I find out. Yes, okay. You can just go that way. There, and now it's empty, so the iron should be able to come in here all willy-nilly and good. So we should have no problems. I'm gonna start turning them on over here. So if there is a problem, I don't need to go and, well, have the problem backing up for several turns. Alrighty. Yep. Coming through just fine. And you're separating off, going over here. Yes, yes, yes. Everything good, everything fine. Ah, hey, I didn't even need to go run off to go find one of these. Neat. Alrighty, and that should actually do that perfectly. As we've already established. Oh, shoot. Well, this is why we go and test this stuff. This is why we go and test this stuff. There was an issue. We found the issue. Now we turn it back on. Okay. Well, that would explain why we weren't getting a lot of coal. That would explain why we were getting a lot of coal. That really would explain that. Alrighty. Anyways, like I was saying, it's okay for the crushed ores to go into the crusher because they can't crush it any further down, which I am actually quite happy about. I am glad that they didn't make it so that the crushed stuff just becomes more crushed and disappears. Very thankful for that. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Especially seeing as how they have the capability to do that, and it would kind of make a little bit of sense. But please do not do that, developers. Please do not. I am very happy with how the system is going for the crushers. I don't want to be losing my stuff. I don't want to have to try to make a third sorter to just sort off the tiny little chunks. Yeah, the tiny little crushed bits. Thank you guys for not setting that up. But there, that should do all of that stuff, and this stuff should just be as simple as just turning it on, and yeah, the entire line is just fine. So, that is going to be fine for now. I'm probably going to stay online for a little bit of extra time just trying to figure out what exactly I want to do for the copper setup. I mean, the good news is there is plenty of space for the copper over there. I mean, I haven't set up, unlike in the normal, how I set up the normal, you know, ingot place. Normally I have the, all the ingots and such going into a more open space to allow me to, well, make the rods, plates, and, well, that's pretty much it. In my main place, since we're going to need them eventually. So another redesign might be in order in the future, but for right now, this should do us. Of course, do keep in mind that just because I say another redesign might be in order, doesn't mean that I'm actually going to do that. I might just leave this system as it is for this stuff, and then just create a whole nother system over there for the plates and the rods. But that is going to do us for now, people. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and sayonara.